Buying used bee hardware could be a death sentence. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be day 12 of our beekeeping tip of the day. Today's tip is all about buying used bee hardware. Now, I'm a big fan of trying to save money wherever I can. And most people don't have to worry about this at all because in this strong as hell economy that we're all experiencing right now, a lot of people just have a lot of surplus cash and it's not a big deal. But if you're trying to save a few bucks, you might think, hey, why not just go buy some used bee hardware? And that'll kind of get me started. And if I really like the hobby and things really kick off and it's going well, I can go ahead and invest in some new stuff. I mean, that's kind of the way you do a lot of things, right? You buy used, you try it out. If you like it, then you buy new. Makes sense. The challenge with that, with beekeeping, is that there are a lot of diseases and things that can embed themselves within the honeycomb or around the frames themselves. A good, strong colony can do a really great job of managing little things and overcoming them just through good genetics and hygiene and just regular day-to-day maintenance of their hive. But the one thing that is really kind of like a silent killer, it's not something that you can look at the equipment and know whether or not it's present, but it is the spores of the American foul brood. American foul brood is very, very deadly. It is something that is incredibly destructive to a bee colony, and it can spread rapidly through an apiary or even through an area like a small, I don't want to say regionally, but within a community, absolutely. The spores of American foul brood can spread by one honeybee drifting into another colony, or a honeybee that would be robbing from a colony where American foul brood is present, and then they can in turn bring that back to their colony. So instinctively we say, well, hey, that's okay. I'm going to take it home and I'm going to wash everything up with soap and water and it's going to be fine. Not so fast. American foul brood spores can stay alive through a cleaning, through very intense cleaning of the hardware for up to, I usually see 40 to 50 years is what most people say. I caught a glimpse of an article today that said even up to 70 years. So just figure 40 plus years, those spores can stay alive on that hardware. That means the frames, the boxes, your clothing. So if you're a beekeeper and you're doing an inspection on somebody's hive that has American foul brood, you're going to want to sanitize all of your gear before you take it back to your apiary. Now, I don't want to spend too much time and go off on a big, foul brood treatment kind of tangent, but typically, American foul brood hardware gets burned and destroyed when it's discovered. The colony, the bees, everything gets burned at the time of discovery of the presence of foul brood. Now, you'll hear me talk a lot about the actions that you take as a beekeeper in your apiary, in your bee yard. They can absolutely have an impact and an effect on other beekeepers, other beehives within your area. Remember, a honeybee will typically forage a range of about 5 miles from your house or from your apiary. So if there are any other apiaries in the area, you run the risk of spreading that illness. So keep those things in mind. If you're in a situation where you say, Jeff, I've known this beekeeper for 5-6 years. He maintains a very hygienic, environment. He takes very good care of his bees. He specifically told me that the colonies this came from were disease-free. I think there are times when you can take some risk, but it has to be a calculated risk. It has to be something where you understand everything that's involved. As a brand new, isolated rural beekeeper in the scenario that I just explained, that might be a situation where you could say, okay, I'll roll the dice a little bit. But just make sure you know that what you do has an impact on other beekeepers. Now, the last couple of things I would say is there are some treatment options. If you guys remember Benny the beekeeper on the podcast not long ago out in Utah, Benny will take everything that he has, he'll put it in a big drum of sodium hydroxide and he'll boil it and clean it all up and then reuse it. And he does that with, with regular cycle that he has for his hardware that he does all of that. If you have that capability and you have everything ready to go to do so, by all means. But the temperature at which those foul brood spores can be killed is like 130 degrees Celsius or 265 plus degrees Fahrenheit. So you would need to get it exposed to that temperature or higher for like a half hour. So there's a lot of work involved in it. Again, if you have the time, the resources, the energy, and all of that, maybe that's a route to go. But what I would suggest is as you're going through this, and I've got another video I'm going to be releasing here in the next week or so, breaking down the costs associated with beekeeping. But my recommendation is as you are assessing how much it's going to cost for you to get started, just assume that either you don't have enough money and you're not going to get into beekeeping right now, or you have enough and you can make the commitment and you can enter the hobby, but do it with new hardware. I really, really think that's going to be the way to go. It's the safest route. It minimizes risk to you and other nearby apiaries. It's the right thing to do. So folks, if you found any value to all this content, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. If you feel like I missed something, by all means, let me know in the comments below. If there's a beekeeping tip of the day that you'd like to see, drop a comment, send me a message, let me know. We'll try to get it in. I'm going to run the beekeeping tip of the day for the rest of September. And if you guys like it and enjoy it, we may run it through the rest of the year. We'll see what happens. Outside of that, take care, be kind to one another, and remember that I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.